Two questions. Do you have any predictions on what the outcome will be with the ongoing Ukrainian war? And does the CIA use much air travel of their own, or do they typically hitch rides with other branches of the military? Thanks for everything you've done, and Godspeed on your pardon and pension. Thank you. Great questions. The Ukraine question is easier to answer. The Ukrainians have lost the war. I mean, that's the consensus among American Russia scholars. The Ukrainians have lost the war. They're holding on because the United States and the European Union have supplied them with enough weapons and weapon systems in order to hold on. But they're gradually losing more and more territory. And that's why the Russians won't engage in peace talks. They don't need to engage in peace talks because they're winning. Of course, it would be to the United States' benefit for there to be peace talks and to get this thing done. The bottom line is it appears that the Ukrainians are going to have to concede territory. This is something that many of us said way back when the war first began, that the Ukrainians are going to lose Donetsk, Luhansk. They're going to have to concede the Crimea and just hope that losses don't get any worse than that. On the other side, the Russians are going to have to concede that the Ukrainians are going to get fast-tracked into the European Union. I doubt that Ukraine will become a member of NATO. That's what this war's been about from the beginning. But European Union, yes. And it would just take the stroke of a pen to give Ukraine what's called major non-NATO status. Australia's not in NATO. South Korea, Japan are not in NATO, right? And so neither Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain aren't in NATO. Well, we just treat Ukraine the same way. It's de facto NATO. I think that's what's going to happen. Does the CIA use much air travel of their own? Well, as I'm sure you imagine, the CIA employees fly tens of millions of air miles a year. The CIA used to have its own jet. I was only on it once, but they did away with that jet in the 1990s during a cost-cutting period during the Clinton administration. When I say did away with it, they gave it to the FBI because the FBI needed it to shuttle prisoners from the 10 most wanted list from point A to point B. And then anytime we needed the jet operationally, we would just call the FBI and say, hey, we need the jet. And then they would loan it to us. Otherwise, CIA officers always fly commercial, unless you're involved in some kind of a joint operation with the military. Or, for example, when I was in Afghanistan, rather than fly commercial and risk, you can't fly Cam Air because it goes through Tehran, but we would fly Air India or Pakistan Airways, PIA. It was better just to hitch a ride with, well, the last two rides I hitched in Afghanistan were with the North Dakota Air National Guard and the Missouri Air National Guard, and they would fly us straight to Dubai, and then we would just get on a United flight from Dubai. So, yeah, you hitch a ride when you're in a war zone. That's easy enough. But most of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to go commercial.